If there were an award for the most unsettling celebrity leak of the year, this one would be the front-runner. Jason Letha, self-proclaimed gatekeeper of Hollywood's messiest secrets, has just detonated a revelation with the force to wreck reputations. Known for turning whispers into trending topics, Lee didn't just stir the pot this time, he flung it across the room. According to his account, the last time they were in town, a visit was made to Sean, who at the time was pregnant. And while that detail alone would raise eyebrows, Lee claims there was more smoking, drinking, and other reckless behavior allegedly happening right there in the Bay, all while Chrisean was expecting. But this latest drop isn't just another messy headline, it's personal. Lee's target, Chrisean's baby, Chrisean Jr. For weeks, the rumor mill has been churning with speculation about the child's health. Fans have pieced together scraps of suspicion, sporadic hospital visits, vague and oddly timed social media posts, and Chrisean's sudden vanishing acts from public view. Up until now, it was all just shadow and suggestion, but Lee has thrown gasoline on the fire, claiming in a jaw-dropping late-night livestream that he's in possession of exclusive medical documents. No screenshots yet, no receipts flashed on camera, but the mere claim was enough to send time into overdrive. Within minutes, hashtags started climbing, fan pages flipped from defense to doubt, and what was once private concern exploded into public spectacle. In Lee's hands, this isn't just gossip, it's a live grenade, the kind of story that doesn't just trend for a day but embeds itself in the public consciousness, reshaping how people see both the celebrity and the narrative she's built. And the most unsettling part, if he really does have those documents, the story might be far from over. What Jason Lee unleashed this week may go down as one of the most jarring celebrity leaks in recent memory. In a late-night reveal that has already set social media ablaze, the Hollywood Unlocked founder claimed to possess insider audio and private messages suggesting Chrisean Rock has been concealing a painful truth about her son, Chrisean Jr. Truth that could shatter the carefully rebuilt image she's been crafting since her split from Blueface. According to Lee, Jr.'s brain condition might be far more severe than Chrisean has ever admitted publicly. But in his telling, the medical reality is only part of the story. He hinted that her silence has roots in far messier terrain: family tensions, money worries, and a buried past she's fought hard to keep hidden. The reaction online was immediate and ferocious, timelines filled with demands for answers. Blueface lobbed cryptic shade from prison, and Chrisean herself stayed completely silent, a silence many believe won't last much longer. The irony is that, up until this bombshell, she had been working to distance herself from the circus her relationship with Blueface had become. She'd been spotted in church pews instead of nightclubs, performing an emotional new track called Yahweh that signaled a departure from her old lifestyle. To the public, it looked like a woman in the midst of transformation. But Chrisean Rock's career has never been free of controversy. Long before Jason Lee's exclusive, she was one of entertainment's most polarizing figures. Her rise, fueled as much by chaos as by talent. Fans first came to know her through viral, unfiltered moments. Losing a tooth in a fight, defending Blueface, wild confrontations on reality TV, and a volatile love story that played out in front of millions. She marketed herself on fearless transparency, yet somehow, the most important chapter of her life remained veiled. That chapter began earlier this year when she welcomed her first child. The birth announcement was raw, heartfelt, and instantly viral. But almost from the start, there were signs something was amiss. In live streams and Instagram stories, she spoke vaguely about her baby's health. She posted from hospital rooms without explanation. Mentions of doctor visits were quickly brushed aside. Fans noticed the stress in her eyes, the late-night trips, 2 medical facilities, the subtle evasions. Whispers began to grow. Was Junior sick? And if so, why wasn't she saying anything? Publicly, Chrisean leaned into motherhood as a redemption arc. Her most loyal supporters applauded her resilience, framing her as a young mother fighting for a better life for her son. Privately, according to insiders, the reality was far darker and far more complicated. That's where Jason Lee stepped in, known for breaking stories most outlets wouldn't touch. Lee claims he began investigating after hearing from a reliable medical source. Initially skeptical, he says he changed course when a second source came forward with what he called undeniable proof. He didn't drop the bomb all at once. Instead, he baited the internet for days with ominous teasers. Sometimes the truth hurts more than the lies. Y'all's favorite girl ain't telling y'all everything about that baby. The speculation was relentless, and now, with the leak out in the open, The story is threatening to upend everything Chrisean has tried to rebuild. For weeks, speculation had been running wild. Was the drama about Blueface, custody battles, or something else entirely? Few imagined the storm brewing would revolve around baby Christian Jr.'s health. Yet while the whispers grew, Chrisean Rock's life remained as chaotic as ever. Paparazzi caught her in heated arguments with Blueface outside recording studios. On Instagram, she wept into her phone camera, venting about disloyal friends and people preying on her downfall. Still, she filled her feed with smiling photos of Junior images that, upon closer look, often featured the faint outlines of medical equipment just out of frame. The situation was further complicated by Chrisean's strained family ties. Her mother has publicly criticized her choices, and her siblings have been quick to air private grievances online. Insiders say disagreements over Junior's career and Chrisean's decision to keep certain medical details from the public have only deepened those rifts. Jason Lee, the relentless Hollywood Unlocked founder, would later claim this family tension was a key reason she stayed silent. Meanwhile, Blueface added fuel to the fire with his own cryptic post a week before the leak. Some people care more about how it looks than how it really is. Initially dismissed as yet another jab in their ongoing feud, the message has taken on a darker tone, in hindsight perhaps a subtle attempt to distance himself before the truth emerged. By the time Jason Lee went live, the stage was set for detonation. Rumors were already churning, emotions were high, and Chrisean's silence only intensified the curiosity. Over 100,000 viewers joined in the first 5 minutes alone. The live chat scrolling faster than anyone could read. Jason opened with deliberate weight. "This is not about gossip tonight. This is about truth, and it's a truth some of you aren't ready for." He claimed to have obtained official hospital records confirming that Junior was diagnosed shortly after birth with a rare neurological disorder, one that could cause developmental delays, seizures, and would require lifelong specialized care. While he didn't read the documents in full, he described them in enough detail to send shockwaves through the audience. The forms, he said, had come from a whistleblower inside the medical facility. The tension in the livestream had already been running high, but nothing could have prepared the viewers for what came next. The most incendiary moment arrived without warning. Jason, who had been teasing proof all evening, suddenly shared blurred screenshots that he claimed were excerpts from Chrisean's medical records. Although the images had key identifying information hidden, the visible dates and the vague but telling descriptions lined up almost perfectly with several of Chrisean's known hospital visits over the past year. This detail alone made the audience freeze. The implications were serious, and it was clear Jason was treading in dangerous territory. In the chat, reactions split into two furious camps. Some accused Jason of crossing a moral and legal line, insisting that even blurred medical records were a gross invasion of privacy. They argued that no matter the drama or public curiosity, there were boundaries that should never be crossed, especially when it came to someone's health or their child's. Others, however, were more concerned with the truth and began demanding that Jason go all the way by releasing the unblurred records. Their reasoning was simple. If Chrisean had been hiding something serious, they believed the public had a right to know, particularly given her role as a public figure who regularly posts about her personal life. The comments section became a storm of ethics versus exposure, with some viewers openly calling the act career-ending, while others claimed it was exactly what she deserved. Just as the debate reached a fever pitch, Jason delivered his second and arguably even more damn you. Without any build-up, he played leaked audio clips that he alleged were voice notes exchanged between Chrisean and a close family member. The moment the recording began, the stream's energy shifted. A voice, which sounded eerily similar to Chris, spoke in a low, anxious tone. "If people find out what's really going on with Junior, they're going to say I'm a bad mom." It was a short statement, but its impact was immediate and heavy. Those few words took the situation far beyond gossip. They hinted at something deeper, possibly connected to the blurred medical records. The weight of the message was not just about a child's medical condition, it was about the fear of judgment, the pressure of maintaining a public image, and the possibility that Chrisean had been hiding a truth that could damage her reputation and perhaps even her custody standing. The live stream chat went into overdrive. Some argued that the voice notes proved everything Jason had been insinuating, while others doubted their authenticity, warning that audio could easily be edited or faked. Regardless of which side they were on, everyone agreed that the conversation had shifted. This was no longer just entertainment. Gossip had become a full-blown reckoning about privacy, accountability, and the blurred lines between public curiosity and personal boundaries. For Chrisean, it was a moment that could alter not just her public image, but the trajectory of her entire life. What seemed like a dazzling new chapter in Papooses' life was actually a ticking time bomb disguised in glamour. With Claressa Shields at the center of it, and the real shock was that she was not single at all. She was not just casually dating someone, she was fully engaged, with a ring on her finger, a wedding date set, and both families already intertwined. While many might assume Papoose had no idea, the rumors say differently. Industry whispers backed by alleged screenshots no one dares make public suggest he knew about her fiancé from the very beginning. Even so, in the classic I Can Change Her mindset, he convinced himself the situation was more complicated, reportedly telling friends they were on a break. In reality, it was little more than wishful thinking laced with denial, the kind of self-deception that only delays the inevitable explosion. Alleged screenshots from Carissa's phone appeared to show a message from Chrisean, saying, "I don't want people thinking I can't handle my own kid. The second they find out about the seizures, they'll act like I'm begging for sympathy and I'm not doing that." The moment these supposed texts surfaced, the internet split in two, half convinced they were genuine, the other half accusing Carissa of doing what she does best, stirring the pot. But midway through her live, Carissa tossed out an even juicier bombshell, claiming that Blueface's sister had been quietly trying to raise the alarm about Junior's health for weeks, only to be dismissed by Chrisean as jealous and obsessed whenever she posted anything. "They'll call me messy for this," Carissa said, her voice sharp. "But I'm sick of watching that baby bounce in and out of hospitals while she's hopping flights, hitting stages, and doing interviews like life's picture perfect. Nothing perfect." Within hours, the clip dominated timelines, pushing #ChrisExplains into the top trends. With comment sections split between heartfelt pleas for the truth and ruthless accusations of selfishness and brand obsession. And just when everyone assumed Jason or Carissa would keep steering the storm, the next bombshell came from an entirely unexpected source. The next twist didn't come from Jason Lee, Carissa, or even Blueface. It came from a faceless TikTok account, claiming to belong to a nurse at the very hospital where Junior had been treated. The account posted a heavily blurred video that appeared to show hospital intake paperwork bearing the name Junior Malone alongside a list of medications. Speaking through a distorted voice filter, the alleged nurse insisted, "This isn't about tearing down a mother, it's about making sure this child receives consistent care. From what I've witnessed, there are missed treatments, gaps in his appointments, and it's not because of the hospital. It's because of travel and scheduling conflicts." The clip spread like wildfire before TikTok pulled it down for likely privacy violations. But by then, it was too late. The footage had already been screen recorded and reposted across Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, where it racked up millions of views in hours. Entertainment sites pounced, running headlines like "Insider Nurse Speaks Out. Junior's care allegedly compromised and family at war over Chrisean Rock's son." Still, Chrisean said nothing. Blueface, however, couldn't resist fanning the flames, tweeting late at night, "Told y'all, it's not always what it seems." A cryptic remark fans dissected endlessly, debating whether he was aligning with Jason and Carissa or simply relishing Chrisean's public turmoil. Industry voices began chiming in. Reality star Hazily posted on Instagram, "We all love Chrisean, but being a mom means being honest when it comes to your child's health, especially if you live your entire life online." Meanwhile, another wave of supposed Hollywood Unlocked exclusives began circulating, fake but convincing screenshots claiming Jason had even more voice notes from Chrisean, including one where she allegedly complained about hospital bills and expressed fears that people might start unauthorized GoFundMes and make me look broke. At this point, the scandal had grown beyond a trending topic. It was the epicenter of the celebrity gossip world, consuming blogs, comment sections, and shade rooms alike. And just when it seemed like every detail had been unearthed, whispers began about a second leak, this one not about Junior's health, but about how those sensitive hospital documents found their way into the public eye in the first place. By the time dawn broke, the scandal had evolved into something far more explosive than anyone expected. Freshly leaked Twitter DMIs claimed the person who supplied Jason D. Lee with those hospital documents wasn't some random nurse, it was someone deeply embedded in Chrisean's inner circle. That revelation sent the internet into meltdown, transforming the story from a messy rumor into a full-blown digital battlefield. The online audience split into two fierce camps. On one side stood the #ProtectJunior movement parents, fans, and advocates, who insisted Jason, Carissa, and the alleged whistleblower were right to expose the situation. For them, the issue wasn't gossip, it was accountability. Viral tweets read, "This isn't about bashing Chrisean, it's about making sure her child gets proper, consistent care. If she were any regular mom, CPS would already be involved. Fame isn't a free pass." On the other side surged the hashtag #LeaveChris alone loyalists, who saw the entire ordeal as a calculated smear campaign. To them, Jason was clout chasing, Carissa was predictably messy, and the nurse was crossing serious ethical and legal lines. Instagram comments bristled with outrage. "Weaponizing a child's medical condition is disgusting. Jason should be ashamed." Then celebrities began chiming in, pouring gasoline on an already raging fire. Cardi B went live to say, "The internet will turn a rumor into a full Netflix doc before the truth even comes out. Let that girl breathe." Meanwhile, Boosie Buttaz sparked debate with a blunt tweet. "If my kid had a condition, I'd cancel the tour. Money can wait. Family first." Even behind-the-scenes industry players were taking sides, some quietly unfollowing Chrisean on Instagram, others publicly defending her. Blogs started tallying which stars had aligned with Team Chrisean or Team Jason, turning the saga into a pop culture spectator sport. Then came a jaw-dropping twist. A YouTube gossip channel dropped screenshots of what they claimed was a group chat between Chrisean, a former assistant, and a close friend. In the alleged messages, the friend accused the assistant of selling Junior's medical records to Jason for $15,000. The assistant denied the sale, but admitted mentioning Junior's health to someone connected to Jason. Hours later, the assistant's Instagram vanished, and social media spiraled into conspiracy mode. Was this betrayal from within? Was the assistant a pawn? Or was the group chat itself a fabricated smokescreen to keep the clicks rolling? The most haunting observation came from a viral tweet. "If her own team is leaking on her, Chrissy, not fighting the internet, she's fighting the people closest to her." By nightfall, TMZ and Complex had picked up the story, running headlines like "Chrisean Rock in crisis, allegations of son's neglect and team betrayal swirl." And yet, Chrisean stayed completely silent. No tweets, no live streams, no statements. Commentators warned that her quiet could cost her control of the narrative, but whispers began suggesting her silence wasn't about retreat, it was about strategy. An alleged PR insider claimed Chrisean had a video that, if released, wouldn't just defend her, it would completely dismantle the credibility of at least one of her loudest accusers. By this stage, Chrisean Rock's silence had become more than just a lack of comment, it had turned into a living, breathing force that fueled the internet's obsession. Every hour without a statement felt like a deliberate act, a strategic refusal to give the masses what they wanted, and the result was a feverish state of speculation that spread across social media like wildfire. Comment sections were filled with countdowns, Twitter threads dissected every facial expression from her past interviews, and YouTube gossip channels began producing daily update videos with titles like "Chrisean is hiding something" and "What she's not telling you." The digital world was running on fumes of curiosity, and with each tick of the clock, the pressure mounted. Then, in a move that seemed designed to detonate the rumor mill, her Instagram came alive. No long caption, no heartfelt notes. Just a solid black screen paired with audio, a laugh. But not just any laugh. To the trained ears of her most devoted followers, it wasn't hers. It was deep, deliberate, and carried a certain smugness. Within seconds, fans were comparing it to old interviews with Jason Lee, swearing they could hear the exact same tone and inflection. Some claimed it was proof he was involved in the unfolding chaos. Others thought it was bait, meant to send everyone spiraling down the wrong rabbit hole. Barely 5 minutes later, before the debate could cool, a second story dropped. This one was even more tantalizing, a grainy, low-light still image that looked as though it had been yanked straight from a security camera feed. The quality was poor, but the scene was clear enough to make out two silhouettes seated across from each other in what appeared to be a dimly lit lounge. One figure was said to be the very same nurse who had been accused of leaking Junior's confidential hospital information. The other was a man in a baseball cap, his posture slightly hunched toward the table, where a phone lay positioned suspiciously close to both of them, its screen lit, as if recording. Overlaying the image were words that felt less like commentary, and more like an accusation. They hinted at planning, collusion, and a scheme far more elaborate than a rogue nurse speaking out. Too many. This was Chrisean's way of signaling that she held more than just suspicions, she had evidence, or at least enough to make a compelling case that the leak wasn't organic, but orchestrated. Within minutes, Twitter hashtags like #setup, confirmed and #ChrisEan, got receipts, began trending. Fans split into warring factions, those convinced she was about to expose the culprits in cinematic fashion, and skeptics who saw it as a calculated distraction to shift focus away from the original allegations. Either way, the message was clear: wasn't ignoring the firestorm. She was fanning it, letting the world know she had something in her pocket that could turn the whole narrative on its head. Almost on cue, gossip YouTuber T in the Trap uploaded a bombshell video titled, "Exclusive, the Jason Lee and nurse meeting footage Chrisean is about to drop." According to the vlogger's alleged source inside Chrisean's camp, the full tape would reveal the nurse being paid not directly by Jason, but through a third-party linked to him via mutual media connections. The internet's curiosity morphed into obsession. Was Jason masterminding this, or was someone else using him and Chrisean as pawns in a bigger clout game? Then Whack 100 jumped into the mix during a Clubhouse session, declaring, "Y'all think it's about the baby? But this is about money and control. Folks in her circle want to run her career, and when she doesn't listen, they hit her where it hurts, her image." That statement cracked open an entirely new layer of conspiracy theories involving record labels, brand deals, and behind-the-scenes power plays. On Twitter, #release the video started trending worldwide, with fans, bloggers, and influencers all demanding Chrisean drop the full clip immediately. Instead of finally releasing what she had promised, she chose to drop one last cryptic story. Not tonight, but soon. Very soon. That short line was enough to set the internet on fire. Within minutes, livestream countdowns began appearing on YouTube and Instagram, each promising to track the exact moment the supposed footage might drop. On TikTok, people broke down the blurry screenshot from her earlier post frame by frame, speculating on every shadow and background detail, while entire threads on Reddit were dedicated to mapping out possible connections and motives. Theories multiplied so quickly that it felt less like gossip and more like a full-scale investigation, with strangers piecing together timelines and matching clothing from old photos. But just when the buzz was reaching a fever pitch, the night delivered its most shocking twist. An anonymous Twitter account created just hours earlier posted a single still image, allegedly taken from the unreleased footage. The photo was grainy but clear enough to stir chaos. It appeared to show the nurse, the mysterious man in the baseball cap, and a third person, a woman with long hair, oversized sunglasses, and a thick gold chain. What made the image truly explosive was that the chain looked almost identical to one often worn by Carissa Saffold, the mother of rapper Blueface. Longtime followers immediately began pulling side-by-side photos of Carissa from old interviews and social media posts, comparing the chain links, the way the light hit the gold, even the way it rested on her collarbone. Some swore it was an exact match, while others argued it could be coincidence or an intentional setup to frame her. The suggestion that Blueface's own mother might be involved took the rumor mill to another level entirely. TikTok creators began posting urgent Part 2 and Part 3 updates. YouTubers went live with reaction streams, and Twitter exploded with memes, conspiracies, and disbelief. For many, this was no longer just about the original mystery. It had become a tangled web connecting family drama, celebrity scandal, and internet detective work. By the end of the night, hashtags linking Carissa's name to the footage were trending, with thousands demanding answers and just as many warning against rushing to judgment. The cryptic promise of soon now felt less like a tease and more like a ticking bomb, with the entire online world holding its breath to see if the full story or the full video would ever actually surface. If the rumors were true, this wasn't just an orchestrated smear, it was a full-scale family betrayal. The internet staggered under the weight of the possibility, but confirmation was elusive. The picture was grainy, the angle poor, and Chrisean kept her lips sealed. Now, the question hanging in the air isn't just whether she released the video, it's whether, when she does, it will vindicate her, annihilate her enemies, or detonate in her own hands. Either way, everyone knows the moment she hits post, the internet will never be the same. Somewhere out there exists a video shrouded in mystery, grainy visuals, murmurs of secret arrangements, whispers of money changing hands, and perhaps a devastating betrayal from someone within Chrisean's own inner circle. The burning question is, when this footage finally surfaces, will it wipe her slate clean or deepen the shadows around her, forcing everyone to wonder who she can truly rely on and what's been happening away from public view? Think about it, did Jason Lee mastermind this leak from the very beginning? Was the nurse genuinely speaking out for the child's sake? Or was she simply a piece on a much larger chessboard? And if that indistinct figure really was Carissa in the background, what ripple effects could that have for Christian's family dynamic and Junior's well-being? I want your thoughts raw, unfiltered, and straight from the gut. Share your theories, because I'm diving into every single one. And pay attention, this saga is far from its final chapter. If the whispers I'm hearing are accurate, the next revelation could detonate the entire narrative: unreleased audio clips, unseen text messages, and possibly full footage capable of flipping public opinion overnight. In scandals like this, closure doesn't exist. Each final twist is only the setup for the next bombshell. When that video lands, we'll dissect it frame by frame, angle by angle, exposing every hidden thread. This isn't mere entertainment. Gossip, it's a live case study in power, loyalty, and the dangerous games people play behind the spotlight.